right, we're live. Welcome to the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi Podcast, episode 48. I'm Shao Dai, and we have Gaza in the room. Say hi, Gaza.
Hi.
Hi. Gaza, very energetic. Gaza, this is a big-ish week.
Mate, I gotta tell you, I can't speak too much. Because I don't want to. I was a little bit under the weather recently.
Yeah.
But I actually got coronavirus.
Oh, actually, Gaza, you know what? One thing we didn't do this time was to check the sound. So.
Oh.
All right, Gaza, you're back on. Okay. Let's start again. Welcome to episode 48 of the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi Podcast. I'm Shao Dai, and we're Gaza in the room. Say hi, Gaza.
Hello.
Yes, Gaza. We didn't know whether your virus infected my computer, but your sound was not on. But now you're on.
Oh, hilarious. But yeah, I probably won't be speaking too loudly this podcast.
Yeah.
Just to, don't want to take any chances.
Yeah.
I was pretty crook on Friday.
Yeah.
Had a bit of medication, so hopefully I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But I did really want to do this podcast, so it's my fault that we're doing this podcast. So don't blame Shao Dai.
Yeah. Well, well, I'll let you take the blame, even though I'm to blame as well.
But yeah, we really wanted to cover this podcast. We wanted to talk about the Kisei.
The Kisei, Gaza, Kisei
Game
one.
6. Also, we have the first game of the Judan. We have a couple of events that happened in Korea, an exhibition game between two different generations.
Yep.
And a youth tournament. And other than that, we've got we may have some updates on the European Pro qualification.
Yep.
And also updates on perhaps the Chinese Tianyuan.
That's right. Big domestic tournament. And then we'll go to the calendar. Now, Gaza, the 47th Kisei. This is a big one. This is the game between Shibano Toramaru and the current Kisei Ichiriki Ryo on the right over here in this picture. And you can see them. What's behind them is basically looks like some kind of steps to like a temple, and it's all covered in red stuff. I don't know if I don't think it's red carpet. It might be just some kind of cardboard, but it's red. And on that cardboard, there's a bunch of like dolls, Japanese traditional dolls. Now, what this is, I believe it's called Hina Matsuri, and it basically translates to Dolls Day or Girls Day. So it's kind of a celebration of girls, and they just put these beautiful traditional dolls on. I believe is to be a not plastic but red cloth. So this happens on the 3rd of March. And that happens to be just about 1 week on the. I believe that's when they play the 5th game of the Kisei, which we have already covered. And this week, the 6th game happened. And of course, Kisei is the biggest tournament there is in Japan in terms of prize money and in terms of prestige. It's a best of 7 in the final. And it's Ichiriki versus Shibano. And up to game 5, it was Ichiriki 3-2 Shibano. So Ichiriki only needs to win one more game to retain the Kisei. Now, Gaza, believe it or not, apparently this is Ichiriki's. If Ichiriki managed to retain the Kisei, this is the first time he's ever retained a title that he's won. Can you believe that?
Unbelievable. Are we talking about one of the 7 majors?
One of the 7 majors, yes.
Yes. So, which other titles has he held? He did hold the Tengen, which he lost. He held the Gosei, which he lost.
That was about it. I can't remember.
I think they're the only 2
Yeah.
titles that he's won.
I think Kisei is the first of the big three that he's won, if I'm not wrong.
That's definitely true.
Yes. So, yeah, but anyway, that's what I've heard. and as people know, I almost never check my sources. I just blurt them out, and Gaza, if I'm wrong, you correct me. that's the basis on which I work. And okay, so this is some nice pictures of them. Now, Gaza, what's happened in the game? Shall we quickly look at the game? I only want to talk about one part of the game, which I found very, very interesting. And so in this game, Ichiriki is black, Shibano is white. I guess up to the early middle game, it's so far so normal. So they just kind of just go for 3-3. They fight a little bit. And the first interesting thing kind of happened here where Shibano's white group here gets pressured a little bit by the black group. So I guess it's kind of obvious ideas to run out this black group, which Shibano does. And then Shibano, I guess for me at my level, I will be thinking about something like this, jumping out. Because obviously this doesn't work. This cut doesn't work. So that's what I'll be thinking about. But Shibano is, of course, a lot stronger than me. He tries to play here. And I can kind of see why. It tries to get your options open so you can run or you can build a base. And also, you can pull out this bad boy later on. But then Ichiriki is having none of it. Ichiriki is saying, haha. So jumps in to destroy Shibano's plans. Now, Gaza, I really don't know what happened here, but Shibano's seems to be following a particularly bad plan. So he decides to push once and then extend. I guess the idea is that he can jump this way or pull this out. Or maybe he even thought this would be Sente. But Ichiriki just ignored him and just made his group stronger. When Shibano pulled this out, which is quite big because it captures the corner, Ichiriki just says, nope, thank you very much, and captures all of this. All of this is gone.
Yeah, I have a theory as to that move 74.
74, yeah.
I don't think that Shibano thought it was Sente. So
yeah,
I feel that Shibano realized he's in a bit of a bind in this at this point of the game.
Right.
And he had two options. One option was to basically fight.
Yeah.
For all of
this group.
Yeah, to save all of his white stones at the bottom.
Yep.
And the second option was to capture the corner. Right. Now, the first option is probably one, is probably the better option. But the issue is that if he fails, if he loses the fight, it's pretty much game over because all of his stones are likely going to die in that case.
Yeah.
And there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
The second option to capture the corner basically sacrifices those bottom middle stones, although they do have a little bit of RG.
Yeah.
Which is a definite loss. So he is behind. He definitely realizes that he's behind a little bit, but I think the idea is that he cuts his losses and tries to make up the deficit somewhere later on in the game.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately for Shibano, if that's what he was thinking, it didn't really work out for him.
Well, this is just my hypothesis.
Yeah.
I think that it's a possibility considering that this is a must-win game for Shibano. He's probably, it's psychologically you don't want to. I guess you don't want to lose the match based on an unforced error,
right?
Like your own silly stupid mistake. You'd rather just play solidly, and wait for an opening by your opponent. And if none comes, then you just so be it, right?
Yeah.
That it just means your opponent played really, really well. But otherwise, if you can wait and be patient, there might be a chance. And so I guess he didn't want to risk everything so early in the game.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. He's not in a good spot at the moment.
Yeah. So after Ichiriki plays so solidly that he very securely captures this. And I think even though, I mean, obviously I'm not going to give a technical analysis of the game, but there's a few points after this which I found very interesting. And I don't think you need to have a technical analysis of it to kind of appreciate what Ichiriki is doing. Because what's happened is, you can see here, Ichiriki decides to Atari, and Shibano, obviously, if you think you're behind, one of the tricks you can do is to start a ko, which is exactly what Shibano does here. So Ichiriki just fights a ko, and then Shibano starts another ko here to even try to make things even more complicated. So this is where the interesting thing happens. Ichiriki just connects. Like, I don't care about this ko. I'm gonna just whatever. And then when Ichiriki takes this, Ichiriki also connects. And when Shibano takes the ko, he connects. This just tells me that Ichiriki is saying, I know I'm leading, so I'm not gonna try to cause trouble, trying to stir up trouble. I'm just gonna play as solidly as I can. The only thing you can do is attack my middle black group, but I'm pretty good there. So these two moves, this connecting from the code just tells me everything I need to know about what Ichiriki is thinking at this point. He's pretty sure that he's sitting pretty. He thinks he's sitting pretty, so which is probably true. But
it's worth pointing out that this is already day 2 of the game.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think day 1 was just much earlier when they were still fighting on the left, I think. Yeah.
No, they weren't still fighting on the left, actually. Ichiriki connected the second ko.
Yeah.
That was the last move of day 1.
Oh, right. I think when they were fighting on the left, they just went to lunch on for the first day.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think it ended up being such that guys, I don't know if there's any move you wanted to cover, but
yeah. So here, no, this is the sort of the. I mean, this isn't the critical point of the game, but this is sort of the winning point of the game. So here, some interesting moves now. Now, this move here I found particularly interesting, despite the fact that Ichiriki knows what he's doing. But the thing is, this is actually quite a risky move that he's played here, move 159.
Yeah.
To play in the eye space.
Yeah.
Of white, because the safest move would have been G7.
G7 would be
because
here.
that just connects his group. That just connects his stones, which I would have expected him to do because like it keeps all of his groups alive.
Yeah.
It also it cleanly captures the bottom middle white stones.
Yeah.
I mean, the RG there is almost completely gone now.
Yeah.
And although white is allowed to live, white lives in Gote, and black is safely ahead in points.
Right.
But in the other hand, Ichiriki actually decided to play that and in the eye space to kill the white group, and it now becomes a capturing race.
Yeah.
Because obviously Shibano pushes and cuts, and now the bottom white middle stones, the RG comes into effect. But Ichiriki obviously must have read it out, and his very last move is a little bit of a Tsuji because nothing else. It's the only move that works.
Right. You mean this one?
Yes.
Yes. So what happened was obviously white pushes through, cuts, and then he taris, and he does that, and then he plays here. Right.
Yeah. So this allows black to win the
capturing race.
Very
nice.
And I think Shibano was playing on just to see if Ichiriki would see this move.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it was white may have had an escape.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as Ichiriki played this, Shibano resigned.
Yep.
Very
nice.
Yes. And that meant that Ichiriki won his, game 6, which meant he won the Kisei match 4-2.
Very nice. And there's some beautiful food that he gets to enjoy in the course of playing this game. And so we have the some of the pictures that was taken during the game 5 and 6. And you had something to say about Shibano's poses.
These tiger poses. I mean, it seems to be some sort of gimmick of Shibano's that he always seems to do these poses.
Yeah,
I gotta say it's the least scary tiger pose.
Yeah.
I think I've ever seen in the sporting field. It just doesn't suit him. I mean, on the board, yeah, he's definitely scary, but off the board,
it's
not.
It looks like a cat about to scratch you. Now, I think this tiger pose,
more like a pussycat.
Yeah. This kind of tiger poses from Shibano, I think has a reason. I think the reporters keep asking him to do it because Tora in his name literally means tiger. So there we go. But of course, I think they were in some.
That must be it.
Yeah, that must be it. They must be in some kind of wax museum or some kind of art museum or something. So they were. This is them being picked up by King Kong. And this is Ichiriki, getting involved with Jaws. Very dangerous there. Another tiger pose from Shibano Toramaru. By the way, there's a Japanese movie called Tora.
And that is a nice looking temple.
Nice looking temple.
That's a really nice looking temple.
Yeah. By the way, there's a Japanese movie called Tora, which literally means tiger. It's about I believe about kamikaze. The kamikaze.
Oh, it's not about Shibano?
No. Oh, and they have some really nice yogurt as well. Look how cute. And this is the thing with the Japanese games. The food porn is as much of it as big part of it as almost the Baduk.
It's terrible.
Why?
Terrible.
Why?
It should be about the go.
Oh wow.
No, I'm just joking.
Oh wow. I mean, this is really good food that they're enjoying. So this is Ichiriki feeling really happy about retaining his title. And let's stay in Japan, Gaza. We wanted to talk about the 61st Judan, which is one of the major 7 titles in Japan, one of the minor ones.
Yes.
And it's a best of 5. Now, thankfully, these games finish in one day.
They're 1 day games. Yes, I think this one in particular is a 3-hour game. What I mean is it's
per person,
3 hours each player.
Yeah. And this game involved Shibano as well.
Yes. So, the current Judan is Chiayuan.
Yeah.
Who has had the title for 2 years now.
Very nice.
And Shibano was like he was challenging for the Kisei. He's also challenging for the Judan.
Yep.
And this was game 1. Game 1, it was played on Tuesday actually. So bit of sort of what's the word? Bit of admittance by both of us that we didn't actually go over the game until maybe about 10 minutes before this podcast.
Right.
I didn't look at the game because I was at work, and you didn't look at the game because you were busy.
Yeah.
But we have had a look at the game, and it's actually got some quite interesting moments.
Now, yeah, let's kind of fast forward to when they kind of had this really crazy kind of fight in the middle. So they kind of just keep fighting, and guys, like there was a point when you said you didn't really understand what Black was doing, and let's look at the board over here.
If you look at the board. White, yeah, black made a wall in the middle.
Yeah.
You can see black has a wall in the middle, but it's not surrounding much territory. Is middle area.
Yeah.
And it's also got a lot of cutting points.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be exposed later on.
Yeah.
But this is the first move that I was really confused about.
Yeah.
So what move is this?
At this point, basically, whites play this move, which is obviously threatening to cut off this black 4 stones. And over here in the bottom left, this white group, you notice that this looks like an eye, but if black connected, this would be a false eye. So therefore, for white to live, white needs actually at least one other move. So at this point, white just threatened to cut off the stones. What does black do instead of connecting these 4 stones? Black goes.
Well, it's actually a co threat because they were playing that co in the bottom left.
Yeah, correct.
Yes. So black ignores the. So this is where black ignores the co threat.
Yeah.
And connects the curve.
Yeah, and I guess at this point, if white was to back down, white would be doing something like this to try and live. Although if I look at this now again, even if white does this, so black can throw in. What happens here? That's actually not even 2 eyes. So white isn't actually alive anyway. After black connects, so yeah. So even if white plays an extra move, he's not guaranteed to live. So I guess that's when white decides to say, "I'll take the cash." That's what I imagine he's saying in his head. So white captures, and maybe this is needed because otherwise black would be in trouble. This top group. So then after that, Shibano decides to run out with this white group, and Chiayuan just decides to initiate the kill sequence. But at this point, I felt this game is quite crazy because even though it looks like blacks would be able to somehow do something with this white group, but black is also sitting a little bit precarious in this situation because black really needs at least one move to get out of trouble for this black group, for example. So
and you can see it's actually really clever strategy here by Shibano.
Yeah.
So Shibano's does get some huge real estate at the top with his co-threat, and Chiayuan probably thinks, well, that co-threat's not big enough. I'll connect the co.
Yeah.
And this bottom left white group is in serious trouble. But Shibano, he sacrificed it. But remember how I mentioned those cutting points?
Yeah.
In the middle?
Yeah.
Well, Shibano uses that and the sacrifice stones to get some more points in the middle.
Yeah. Look.
Some points in the middle that looked like they were going to be black's points.
Yeah.
Because of that wall.
Yeah.
Shibano managed to turn it into white's points. It's really clever, actually.
Yeah. And I think if you look closely, there seems to be some kind of bad RG for this black group on the top right-hand corner as well. And you know what's worse? Shibano, by pulling this white stone back, he managed to scare Chiayuan into spending one extra move here. So if I look at what's happened here, Chiayuan spent 1, 2, 3, at least 3 moves just to capture these stones. So whatever value he got out of this, you need to divide it by 3. That's the efficiency per move, which just means that this is probably just a huge Yosei moves. And if you look at the whole board, I think we were talking about this before the podcast. But if you look at the whole board, it looks like white's got like quite a bit of territory, but black's biggest territory just here, and not much else. So I think based on this, it looks like black doesn't have enough points.
It looks like at best black has the same amount of territory as white.
Right.
Which isn't enough because of Komi.
Yeah.
But it's just really. I have to say I'm impressed by this game by Shibano, and I really wish that I could have followed this one live.
Yeah.
Because these are the types of games I enjoy, where players, make big trades.
Yeah.
Or sacrifices that look like they lose a lot of points, but they actually gain a lot of even more points elsewhere.
Yeah.
This is nicely done by Shibano. Very good game.
Yeah.
I have to say this game was higher quality than the Kisei, which is 8 hours.
Yeah.
Something that you didn't ask how I felt about game 6 of the Kisei.
Yeah.
If you remember, I did have high praise, I think, for games 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
Of the Kisei. I think it was game 3. I thought it was pretty average. I thought game 6 was below average.
Right.
It didn't seem like it wasn't of the standard of a 2-day game, I felt.
Oh wow. Very harsh, but yeah.
Well, what did you think of game 6 of the Kisei?
I mean, I kind of just felt like they were kind of all meh. Yeah, but that could be a function that I was just so busy I didn't get time to watch them. But it didn't feel as exciting, to be honest. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that's
it was a bit of an anticlimax, would you say?
A little bit. Yeah, maybe I kind of expected, or maybe if you had gone to some kind of, maybe Shibano had reversed the game and have gone to game 7, that would be the best. But yeah, I just didn't feel connected enough to make too many comments. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I'm gonna hopefully I hope I'll be able to follow the rest of this Judan game, because I'm Shibano does play some exciting Go, and I'm a big fan of Chiayuan.
Right.
So
yeah.
Hopefully the rest of this match will be as good as game 1, and I'll be able to follow it. Yeah.
Yeah. Look forward to hopefully another 5-game series. So that's Judan game 1. Hopefully 4 more games to go. Gaza, let's switch gears and look at some big names in Korea. Now, I think there hasn't been a podcast that's gone by without us mentioning Shin Jinseo in one form or another. And in this one, we're gonna mention him again and no exceptions.
Because Shin Jinseo.
Shin Jinseo, yeah. Who's this guy? Who's this guy with the microphone next to him? So Gaza, there seems to be some kind of exhibition super match that happened in Korea. What is this?
Yes. About? So this was a fairly big match, although it's not a title or anything like that.
Yeah.
When I say it's big, I meant there's a lot of prize money.
Right.
And Korea often have these sort of matches where like team events. They always seem to have 1 or 2 of these every year.
Gimmicks.
I would say a gimmick match is probably the most apt description, but that shouldn't be meant in a negative light, because obviously the thing that should be mentioned is that companies are sponsoring these events and giving prize money, and giving players prize money is always a good thing, and these matches, they often try to make sure that it's not just all the top players,
right,
that are playing, because they're the ones that probably need the prize money the least. But this match in particular was a generational battle, a battle of generations.
Right.
So it was a 5-player team match. So 2 teams of 5 players in a win and continue format.
Oh wow!
So it's like Nongshim Cup, but there's only 2 teams.
Yeah.
So if you win, you keep playing. If you lose, you're out of the event.
Yeah.
And whichever team eliminates the other team wins.
Very nice.
Now, the two teams represent two different generations. The Generation M, I guess that's the millennials.
Yep.
So that's players that are born between 1981 and 1996.
Okay.
And then Generation Z are players born 1997 to 2010.
So basically arbitrary division.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, cool.
And I think it's a little bit clearer why they made those boundary dates when you see the seeds
Right.
that were in the team. So each team had two seeds that didn't have to qualify, and the millennials, the seeds were Park Junghwan and Choi Jong.
Nice.
Notably, Choi Jong was born in 1996.
Okay. So they wanted Choi Jong to be on one side rather than the other.
And Generation Z was Shin Jinseo and Oh Jin.
Okay.
Oh Jin was born in 1998.
Right.
So I feel that may have played a part.
Very, very good.
Now, the other players all got their spots by qualifying. So Generation M had Han Tae-hee, An Sung-joon, and Kang Dong-yoon
Right.
in their team. And Generation Z, they had Gom Ji-woo, Han Sang-cho, and Song Ji-hoon.
Right.
In their team.
All the no-name players except Shin Jinseo.
Well, there's Gom Ji-woo. He's not a no-name player.
What's he ever done?
We've talked about him in previous podcasts. Yeah. I gave a very long discussion on how bad a year he had last year.
Yeah. So.
But he did make. I'm pretty sure he made the Samsung Cup.
Very nice.
Last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
that's not bad. Like he's done like garbage in the Korean league, but then he makes the Samsung Cup. You know, so he's got potential.
Remember the previous Korean league, he had an outstanding season.
Right.
And he was even the male rising star for 2021. He won the Rising Star Award for 2021.
Right.
But anyway, of the Generation M team, you've got players like Park Junghwan, Kang Dong-yoon, and Choi Jong. I mean, they're household names, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then you've got An Sung-joon, who may not be as well known, but he is a top 10 player or thereabouts.
Yeah.
In Korea. And then you've got Han Tae-hee.
Yeah.
Who I've never heard of before.
Okay. Yeah.
But he qualified, and so he was the first player for Generation M, and he actually won 3 games.
Very nice.
So he beat Gom Ji-woo, Oh Jin, and Han Sang-cho.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a very strong start for Generation M. Then he finally fell to Song Ji-hoon.
Yep.
And then Choi Jong also lost to Song Ji-hoon.
Mm-hmm.
So the two women players in this match, neither of them ended up getting a win, which is a bit disappointing, but it happens.
Yep.
And then An Sung-joon, he beat Song Ji-hoon. So that means that Generation Z was down to their final player, while Generation M had 3 players left.
Right.
However, Generation Z's final player was, of course, Shin Jinseo.
Familiar scenario. Who wrote the script?
Right.
Yeah.
So Shin Jinseo, he beat An Sung-joon. Then he had to play Kang Dong-yoon. He beat him.
Wait. Let me guess. Shin Jinseo won every game.
Well, he did end up winning the final game as well against Park Junghwan.
Wow.
So Shin Jinseo, he won 3 games to help Generation Z win.
Yeah.
And the final game was actually quite interesting. Do you have the Kifu of it? Are you able to quickly get it?
I think you posted the Kifu down here. Let me just open it up. Let me know which move you want to focus on. Yes.
I just realized that.
This is game 9.
There was a part. Wait, let me quickly see if I can find. Okay, so Shin Jinseo's black.
Yeah.
Now he's actually losing quite badly.
Yeah.
But Park Chunwon makes a very interesting move, and I think Park Chunwon may have been in a bit of time trouble. So if you go to move 167.
67, yeah.
Now this is one of Shin Jinseo's magic tricks.
Right.
One of his magic tricks that he's famous for.
Yeah.
Now, his magic trick is not only making good moves, but making his opponents play wrong moves.
Yeah.
Now, here the correct move is to connect the ko.
Right, just connect the ko. Yep.
Just connect the ko. White is ahead by quite a bit.
Because there's nothing black can actually do to capture these stones.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, but let me guess. Park Junghwan got scared.
Actually, no. Yeah. I think black can capture. I think black can capture those stones.
Clamp over here, maybe. I'm not sure.
No, I think black can capture those stones, but it's not enough.
Okay, so then Park Junghwan plays here.
Yeah, Park Junghwan plays there.
Which means that even if black takes, white can just connect, and this black group will still be in trouble. Okay. Then what happens?
Oh wait, no, sorry. If white connects the ko.
Right.
Sorry, if white connects the ko, black can't capture those stones because black stones on the left are dead.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So white wins the capturing race, but Park Chunwon didn't see that.
Right.
And I'm guessing that Shin Jinseo. I'm knowing Shin Jinseo. I imagine that Shin Jinseo probably realized that connecting the ko would have been bad for black.
Yeah.
But he had to do something because he was losing anyway.
Yeah.
And so Park Chunwon misread.
Ooh,
and
okay.
And black ends up winning the capturing race.
That's nuts.
It's nuts, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
it was just Atari and then Atari. So this would be in Seki. And if that's in Seki, then black's got this double Atari here. Yeah, so
yep.
Yeah, so Atari, black Atari, that it's in Seki, but it's not in Seki because black can double Atari and capture this white.
It's a double Atari.
Yeah, that's not bad. Very clever.
Very clever. It's just another one of Shin Jinseo's things that he does.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Those 6 black stones in the middle are completely alive.
Yeah.
He does this so often, just working with groups that don't have eyes but are alive.
Yeah. So I managed to trick Park Junghwan again.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I remember this actually happened during day 2. This game was played during day 2 of the Kisei.
Right.
And for some stupid reason, I was following the Kisei instead of this game.
Oh wow.
And after I looked at the Kifu of this one, I regretted it.
Yeah.
Because day 2 of the Kisei was so dead because it was just the game was decided after day 1.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. It was a good game, and very exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the Hana Bank, which was the sponsor of this tournament, were very pleased with the quality of the game.
Yes.
And big congrats to Shin Jinseo and Generation Z.
Yeah.
I think it should just be renamed Generation Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
But
the whole Korean team should be just renamed Team Shin Jinseo. and now you picked out this picture where the kid just put down 25 stones to play a game with a pro.
This looks like this is Gomji Woo.
Okay.
So they have the awards ceremony, and like they also had they had a little bit of an exhibition.
Yeah.
I think where people could play the professionals in like simul games and stuff. And I've played simul games with a professional, and I'll now let you put down some stones. And I usually put down, I don't put down 9 stones.
Yeah.
Even though I would lose in a game against a pro with 9 stones, but I usually put down something like 6 stones.
Yeah.
Because I want to like challenge myself.
Yeah.
And I don't just want to make the game easy for myself, right? And I've never won. I've never won a simul game.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a game against a pro where the pro's given someone 25 stones.
That's a bit crazy.
That's crazy.
I fancy my chances at 25 stones versus Jinseo.
It looks like the other game. The other game. If you saw there was another game there, I think that one looked like it was a 7-stone game. But,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do say I would fancy my chances against Shin Jinseo with 25.
Yeah.
With 25 stones. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
that other game looks like it's probably a 5-stone game.
Yeah. So this is.
But no, it was funny that they took that they decided to post a picture of that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another one of Korea's exhibition tournaments.
Yep. So there's some more pictures of that tournament. And this is actually where they play the simuls with the fans. So you can see Choi Jong here playing versus 3 players. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, it looks like it's 3 players per pro.
Yeah, and I think before that they had this all the fans who wanted to play simuls were like got like a number, and they kind of went to a draw, and the pro kind of drew who they played. So that was actually really nice. I would definitely participate in this kind of event. And this is Choi Jong having a very happy conversation with a female fan. And Eugene. And this
you should kid. Post this. Oh, there we go.
There's a kid with
it is 25
stones. 25 stone handicap. What a genius.
You should post this link in the subreddit.
Yeah, what I'm trying to work out is a program to automatically extract these pictures and post them. So I've just been focusing my energy on doing that. So
on the programming, long term plans.
Unless the news is huge, I kind of just feel like not posting it. So that's what I'm doing. But anyway, okay, that's the M versus Z generation filler match. I have a theory that they keep creating these competitions is because they actually have 2 TV stations in Korea focused on Baduk, so they need content. So they have to kind of make up these competitions just to fill in the schedule.
But like I said, it's not just making up competitions. This is an actual bank that's sponsoring this tournament.
Yeah.
So outside companies are coming in and putting money. Of course, you're going to have games, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not complaining about these tournaments, regardless of how frivolous they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Baduk is Baduk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It actually ends up being a Shin Jinseo versus Park Junghwan game.
If the quality of the Baduk is good, and this final game was a very memorable game.
Yeah.
Then you can't complain.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's not for a title.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So with a series of games that doesn't necessarily need to lead to a title, to one that definitely does, which is the Tianyuan in China, which restarted recently. It's restarted in from the 7th of March, and it ran all the way till I think today is the 12th of March, and tomorrow there will be another game. But what's happened so far is that they have played the Challenger tournament all the way up till the final. So we're gonna and then the winner of the Challenger tournament will challenge Mi Yuting for the title of Tianyuan, which is in Japan would be called Tengen. and it'll be a best of 3 final. But let's look at the 2 finalists. They made
So just to rewind, that's a pretty good summary. But just to clarify, the Tianyuan is a Chinese
domestic
champion and challenger, title holder and challenger tournament.
Correct.
So the title holder is seeded into the next final.
Correct.
And in this case, the title holder is Miyu Ting.
Yes.
And we're currently playing the challenger tournament, and the only game left is the final.
Correct.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. And this is the 37th edition of the competition. So it's been a decent, long-running Chinese competition. So not bad. Now, the interesting thing about this competition was that I think neither Ke nor Li Xuanhao have to play in the first round. I think the first round was just maybe I think it was like a few players playing, and the winner will actually play, the player that was seeded directly in the second round.
Right. So there are seeded seeded players that get buys.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's not too strange. If you've got a tournament with 24 or 48 players, half of the players will get buys to the next round.
Sure. Now, except the thing is, the moment that Ke stepped into the field, he got knocked out by the first.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yeah. Thanks. By this person, he's a very interesting player called Jinseo. Now, people may not know very much about him, but he, of course, firstly, he's a Jar League player, so he's not bad. Now, he also published a collection of very difficult Sumego in China. It's called, in Chinese, it's called Tu Long something. And basically what it means is dragon killing principles. And it's very, very difficult. It's supposedly even pros have trouble, solving the problems in it. So it might, with time, become a classic. And Ke wrote the preface for the book, and Ke said when he was reviewing the problem, he told Jiang that he's a bit worried about the level at which these problems are aimed at. Like basically, fans have zero chance of solving them. And even pros have a lot of trouble because these problems are so difficult. And that didn't stop me from buying the book, Gaza. So I have the book. So there's a copy of that book in Australia, at least one. And that's kind of sits on the shelf collecting dust. But I do have a dream of one day writing a computer program to solve it for me. Because I knew I had zero chance. I looked at the first problem. I had no idea what was going on. And that's when I gave up. All right. So but that's the interesting thing about this player. So Jiang Qiren remains name. He might publish even more puzzles in the future, but it's definitely a very valuable collection. Very, very tough. But he beat Ke. But not only that, in the second round he also beat Xu Yue, so that's not too bad. But there's another big scalp that got taken in the first round, which I believe is, and I can't find the name, Li Chuanhao. He got beat by someone in the first round as well.
Chen Xian?
Chen Xian, yeah. He might have got beat by Chen Xian. For some reason, I can't find his name right now, but whatever. But yeah. And let's talk about the two finalists.
Wait.
Yeah.
Remember last time I mentioned that there's a pattern in Li Junhao's games.
Oh, yes, that's right.
In that it was his last 11 games. White won.
Yeah. So
that's now 12 games.
Oh, wow.
Because Li Junhao was black in his Tianyuan game, and he lost.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. Yes. Now I found his name. Li Xuanhao is here. He lost to Chen Xian, as you mentioned. But Chen Xian didn't fare very well because in the very next round, Chen Xian got beaten by the eventual finalist, Len Xiao. And before that, Len Xiao had beaten Liao Yunhe, and Len Xiao was also seeded into the second round. So Len Xiao had beaten Liao Yunhe, Chen Xian, and Tojashi, and then Zhao Chenyu to make the final. of the Challenger final. So yeah, so he's done quite well. Now the other finalist is Deng Yifei. So Deng Yifei overcame Ding Hao in the semi-final. So great achievement there. But not only that, in the quarterfinal he beat Sheker. And before that he beat Tan Xiao. And before that he beat Peng Liyao. And Deng Yifei was also seeded into the first round. So he's been some really strong players along on the way as well. I think this set of finalists just tells me how tough the Chinese domestic scene is, because like basically every player you beat, like, you know, is either, you know, doing really well in the Jar League or has won an international title before. So
yeah, and like really Lian Zhao is, or they could be Lian Zhao, who somehow has never managed to even make the final.
Yeah,
he's like the exception to the Chinese system.
Like in terms of international, but in terms of
international success, yes.
Yeah, so in terms of domestic, he's won like a lot of
yes, but the Chinese like there are some Chinese players that don't win any domestics, but have managed to win like an international. Like I think Zhe Hao.
Yeah.
He famously his very first title ever was the LG Cup.
Yeah. And I think I do believe that famously Xu Yue, his first competition he's won was, I believe, the LG Cup or a Samsung Cup, might have been. And he was asked whether it's, well, you've won an international title without having won a Chinese domestic title, and he was like, yeah, but that's because international titles are actually easier to win. So there you go. Okay, by the way, I finally managed to find the puzzle collection. The cover looks like this. I believe the best translation is dragon slaying principles. And for example, this is one of the problems that he tries to explain in his book. Oh, actually, this is not one of the problems in his book. This is too simple. But his book has like really, really hard problems. But anyway, so that's the Challenger final. Looking forward to the games between whoever wins this versus Mi Yuting. So that's it. But yeah, like 3 huge names in China: Ke, Ding Hao, and Li Xuanhao. Neither of them made the final of this. So that's how tough this competition is. So let's move on to Gaza. There's another competition in Korea, and the name is Chunwon. I do believe Chunwon is basically the Chinese word for Tianyuan and the Japanese for Tengen. So what's this Millennium Chunwon competition in Korea, Gaza?
Yeah, I have to admit I'm not entirely familiar with this tournament. I do recall that there used to be a Korean Chunwon, which was, I believe, a major title. But that hasn't been around for a while.
Yep.
And this title, it has the same name, but it's only for players born in this millennium.
Right.
So 2000 or later.
Yeah.
Now, so the previous Chunwon was last held in 2015.
Right.
That was the 19th Korean Chunwon, and that was actually won by Na Huin.
Ooh.
It's a familiar name, isn't it?
Yes.
He was a bit of a prodigy, but seems to have tapered off.
Yeah, I do remember people talking about him as if he's gonna be, the Lee Chang-ho's the second, but
yes, the next big thing, yes. Yeah. But and he did win this the latest Chunwon. He actually beat Shin Min-jun in the final. Shin Min-jun would have been
like 15.
Would have just turned 16.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, now Na Huin is so old that he's actually just started his military service.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this isn't like a restarting of that Chunwon. This is a different Chunwon because, like I said, the previous Chunwon was for anyone. This Chunwon is is just for players born year 2000 or later.
All right, Gaza. Let me guess. This competition is for player born in the year 2000 or later. So therefore, Shin Jinseo won it.
It's interesting you say that because Shin Jinseo didn't actually play.
What?
So Shin Jinseo didn't win it. Like I said, he didn't actually play, and I'm pretty sure he was eligible because Shin Jinseo was born in 2000.
Right.
But knowing him, it doesn't seem like he like for quite a while he doesn't seem to enter any of these age restricted tournaments.
Right.
Even though he's been eligible. And I'm guessing it's just because for him it's just like, I wouldn't say it's a waste of time, but it's just it's not I guess it's not his type of thing to do now that he's clearly the best in the world.
Yep.
I think he plays, he doesn't want to.
He wants to share some crumbs with the plebs.
No, it's not that. I think it's just he wants to focus more on playing the, big matches and if he's playing all these youth tournaments, he's got to he's got to prepare for more things. He's got to share his workload, spread his workload around. I guess.
Yeah. And if he loses, then it's not good look.
Yeah, I guess. It's just, he's also, he doesn't need to prove anything in the youth league either.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
It's also entirely possible that the sponsors or the organizers ask him to not participate because otherwise it'll just be a formality, really.
Oh wow.
No offense to these other players, but they're not going to beat Shin Jinseo.
All right.
But in any case, this I don't know how many players entered, but I think it was around about 32.
Right.
I'll just check here. So I have 16, but I think there were qualifiers. So the final tournament had 16 players, and it was a straight knockout up until the final.
Very nice.
And so other than Shin Jinseo, who wasn't there, all the other top players born 2000 or later were there. Players like Park Sang-jin, I think Gom Ji-woo, Kim Yoon-ji.
Yeah.
There were 60. So it turned out there were 67 players that entered.
Yeah.
The qualifiers, and 16 of those made the final tournament. Another player like Baekhyun-woo, who's in the JAR League. I mean, not the JAR League, sorry, the Korean League.
Yep.
He's another player. Yeah, there's a few players. I don't think we would have heard of many of them because not like Kwon Hyo-jin, who was in the Samsung Cup and is also in the Korean League. Yeah, there's some of the players. Now, in the end, it was Han Woo-jin and Park Hyun-soo that made it to the final. Now, Han Woo-jin is sort of known as the super rookie.
Yeah.
At the moment, he won the Rookie of the Year championship, the latest one. And Park Hyun-soo, he actually is a former winner of the Ha-chan-seok Gifted tournament.
Oh, wow.
And when they had the 10th anniversary tournament, between all of the previous winners, he actually was runner-up in that one.
Right.
So, and I think he's also in the Korean League. Yes, he is, actually. So obviously also a good player. Now, the final was a best of 3, and Han Woo-jin ended up winning both games 1 and 2. So he won the final 2-0. They didn't play game 3.
Yeah.
I didn't look at the games. I didn't look at either of the games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed to be a pretty comprehensive win in both cases.
Yep.
For Han Woo-jin. And as a result, because in Korea, if you win a restricted tournament, you get a one dan promotion.
Yep.
So he goes up to 7 dan now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 7 dan promotion. Yeah, so well done to him. It's another tournament victory for him. I'm not sure how many that is now, how many tournaments he's won. I'll quickly try and
check. While you're
Yeah.
checking on that one, I have to say I've never heard of Park Hyun-soo, so I have no idea what he's done. Yeah.
To be honest, I hadn't heard of him until last year.
Right.
Now, Han Woo-jin, I don't know how many tournaments he's won, but it looks like no, he's only won 2 tournaments.
Okay, both restricted, I imagine.
Oh yes, of course, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The rookie king, rookie of the year thing.
Yep.
And this one.
Yep.
Now, Park Hyun-soo, I hadn't heard much about him until the Hacheng-suk gifted tournament 10th anniversary, because he'd won one in the past, but he didn't seem to have done much since then, up until last year when he made the final of the anniversary tournament, and then he made the Korean League.
Yeah.
And now he's made the final of this.
Yeah. So
it looks like he's had a little bit of a resurgence. Because but it's a little bit of a mystery to me what he's done in the last couple of years. Like he's not that highly, like, in the rankings. He's not that high. He's ranked 45th.
Right.
Which to me is not that high, because players like Han Woo-jin are ranked higher than him.
Right. Yeah.
And like this Park Hyun-soo guy, like he turns 23 this year. So
okay. So
I just would have expected. I would have expected him to have made a little bit more impact. But yeah, I don't know what he did in the years between last year and when he won that first tournament. Yeah, but
yeah. All right.
Maybe he went the Gomji Woo approach and just had a really bad year one year, and now he's coming back.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Let's see. Now, Gaza. So that's the Millennium Chunwon, won by Han Woo-jin, and now Gaza. I just want to quickly mention this, but I don't know if it's gonna be if we have any more info to it. But apparently, this picture here is the 5 new showdowns in Korea that just happened.
Oh, I actually didn't know you were gonna mention this, but yeah, Korea does have 5 new showdowns.
Yeah, and
they're all in their 20s.
Right, so they're not that young in terms of like fresh new pros.
No, these aren't prodigies. So Korea have quite a few, at least 3 different systems.
Right.
For selecting pros. One is a general. Yeah, this is the general enlistment. This is the general examination.
Yeah.
There's a prodigy sort of examination. That's the one that Shin Jinseo and Shin Min-jun entered through.
Yep.
And there's a women's one.
Yep.
So this is the general examination. Now all of these their ages range from 22 to 27.
Yeah, it's quite advanced, I would say, in terms of like fresh pros. But yeah.
Yes, but you have to be fair, right? You have to have everyone deserves an opportunity to turn pro, and some people, make that decision or get that opportunity a bit later than others.
Sure. Yep.
But yeah, no. Big congrats to these showdowns.
Yep.
And yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, it's very big achievement just to make.
Oh yeah, no, certainly it's definitely and just turning pro is it's very rare. Not many players in Korea are able to turn pro.
Now, speaking about turning pro, some European hopefuls are about to get the chance of becoming pro because the European pro qualification is happening right now. In fact, it might have just finished.
No, it hasn't just finished.
Okay, hasn't
now, the interesting thing is, while we were doing this podcast, I was watching a game that was happening in the pro qualification. Now, to rewind a little bit to give a bit of sort of an overview as to
what's
happened.
Yeah.
The European pro qualification was a tournament where 8 players are competing for one place in the European pro system. One European pro certificate. Now, a couple of weeks ago, the first round happened, and it was a best of 3 quarterfinals. Yesterday, the semifinals finished, and that was best of 3 as well. And yesterday and today, the final is taking place. Now, the final is between Lucas Podpora and Jan Simara, both Czech players. I believe this tournament is being held. This qualifier is being held in the Czech Republic. So that may explain why there were a few Czech players.
And do you know what Lucas said to Jan after he won the first game?
What?
Checkmate.
Yeah. I shouldn't have even asked. That's terrible.
All right, keep going.
This is also the wrong game.
All right, okay.
Go. But in any case, game 2 has just finished. Now, Lucas Podpora won game 1, and game 2 has just finished, and Jan Samara won that one.
Oh, wow. So I don't know what's happened.
So, well, if you refresh the page.
You refresh the page? Oh, okay. I should have just pressed F5, but I decided to use my mouse for some reason.
So if you refresh the page,
nice. Updated
we'll see that Jan Samara won game 2. Lucas Podpora resigned. And so they will be playing a game 3, and this game will decide who is the next professional.
Yes. Now, I think we've mentioned this before. Maybe a viewer or someone in the Discord can let us know. But I did notice that the most recent, or the reigning European champion, I believe his name is Ben, is not even in this competition. So I do wonder why. But hey.
Yes, I think people were insinuating that since it is a face-to-face tournament, and people may still be not fully
be comfortable with face-to-face.
No, I wouldn't say comfortable, but although like all of the COVID restrictions and stuff are basically gone, people still aren't really in that traveling to places. Not everyone is in that sort of framework in their career or their lives and stuff. So soon after the lifting of restrictions that they're able to travel for events like this. I think that was sort of the implication. Like maybe pre-COVID, people would go to things like this without really considering all that much, but post-COVID, it's just things are just a little bit different.
Okay.
And it may take another year or so before before things get really back to normal in terms of just general travel to pro events and stuff. I'm not really sure. I still am a little bit sort of feeling like wondering why a lot of the players didn't participate. But I do think that the really strong ones are here. Like Lucas Podpora is a 7-dan. And he's like, Europe have these fairly sophisticated ratings, and he's extremely highly rated. On those ratings, including rated above a couple of pros. So he's definitely a very strong player. And all of these players are strong. Like they're all at least 6 dan. But yeah, eight players does seem like a fairly small number.
Yep.
I felt that in the past it was more than that, but maybe I remember the original one though. It only had 16, and the original one selected 2 players. So
right. Yeah,
this one only selects 1. So who knows?
All right.
But for those wondering, I'm not sure if anyone's actually watching us live, but the final game starts, I think, in a couple of hours.
Yep.
And yeah, just go to the European Go Federation website, and they'll have links to the Twitch page, the OGS. You just need to go to the OGS website, online-go.com, and it will have a pop-up when of a review of someone reviewing the live game.
Yes.
When it's happening.
Yeah.
So you don't even need a link to the game. You just need to go to the OGS main page, and there'll be a pop-up.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about OGS. When something like this, big like this, is happening, there'll be a direct link to it.
Yep.
Yeah, and so yeah, if you're keen to find out the next European Pro, I highly recommend
watching
going there. It's not hard to Google.
Yep. Sure. So that's the European Pro qualification. Looking forward to that. There will be a European Pro playing in the Lanka Cup coming up in China. I do believe in May, somewhere in May. So looking forward to their performances in international competitions. And I really, really do hope that one day, you'll get a very competitive European scene, maybe challenging, for example, Taiwan, Japan, and maybe one day challenging Korea and China. But let's see. That's still very far away from that. So that's the European Pro qualification, Gaza. Now, I think we've covered all the topics that we want to talk about, unless you have anything else you wanted to talk about, a burning desire to talk about. Okay, yeah.
I wanted to give an update on the Korean League.
Oh, Korean League, yes. Gaza, keep talking while I try and see if I can look up the website.
Now, we didn't talk about the Korean League last week.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give us a quick update on the last 2 weeks of the Korean League.
Yeah. Now,
there is actually a game happening at the moment. I'll try and find it.
It's Choi Jong and Shin Min-jun's team versus Team Taiwan. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah. Yes, it is Team Taiwan. Now we've gotten a comment.
Yeah.
In the chat.
Yeah.
By the way, of the Korean Pro qualification, and there's actually 6 different methods of qualification. There's the general qualification, which is what we commented on earlier, and that has 5 players. Women's qualifiers, 3 players. The prodigies, or to be more specific, gifted children under 15 years old, 3 players.
Yep.
Insei from outside Seoul.
Right.
One player. Top ranked Insei, 1 player, and the Insei League, 1 player. Now I'm not too familiar with those Insei ones. I was only familiar with the other 3.
Yeah.
The general qualification, the women's qualification, and the prodigies.
Right.
But yeah, big thanks to Eugene for giving us those details. But yeah, so in the Korean League, now I'm not entirely sure where we finished last time, but I would say that I want to give, I think Team Japan has played 3 times since we last discussed.
Yeah.
And Team Taiwan hasn't actually played at all since the last time we discussed them. They're currently playing now, but other than that, they haven't.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Team Japan.
Yeah.
Now, on the 26th of June, so that was 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
They played Korea Price Information. That's Kang Dong-yoon's team.
Yep.
Now, impressively, Fukuoka Kitaro beat Kang Dong-yoon.
Okay. Yep. Nice.
In that match.
Yes.
Kang Dong-yoon is a top 5 player in Korea.
Yep.
Fukuoka Kitaro is, one of the, the young rising players in Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big upset. Unfortunately, it meant nothing because Japan's other 3 players all lost. And I believe that was actually the last game to finish. So it didn't matter that Fukuoka Kitaro won. So just to be clear, Yoshihiro Koike, he lost to Kang Seung-min. Yuki Sakai
lost to Han Sun-ju.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sakai Yuki. Sorry, yeah. I keep on getting his name around the wrong way.
Yeah.
So Sakai Yuki lost to Hang Sung-ju.
Yeah.
Koike Yoshihiro lost to Kang Seung-min.
Yeah.
And Seki Kitaro lost to who did he lose to? Jinseo. This was actually, I believe this was Jinseo's first game in the Korean League, actually. So they waited quite a while to play their 5th player, Career Price Information, but they eventually played him and he won against Japan's number 1 player, Seki Kitaro. So it's another loss for Japan. That's their 7th loss in 7 matches.
Right.
Their next game was last Friday, the 3rd of March, against Beautiful Hapcheon.
Right.
Now, Beautiful Hapcheon are the defending champions. So you would think that Japan are going to struggle, right?
Yep.
Well, Seki Kitaro finally won a game.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So he won against Hyo Young-ho, a veteran player. But Japan's number 2 player, Hirata Tomoya, he lost.
Yep. To Park Junghwan, but that's no shame in that.
Yeah, he lost to Park Chunwon, so not really much you can do about that.
Yeah.
Now
we also
Hirose Yuichi.
Yep.
He also, for Team Japan, he also played. He played against Park Young-hun. Yep. He lost though.
Yep.
But then Fukuoka Kitaro, he beat Park Jong-hoon.
Yep.
And so that meant it was two games each.
Yep.
So Japan got to play an ace match, and this is only the 2nd time they've played an ace match.
Yeah. And was Park Jun-hoon part of the winning team last year? So he was in the votings for the MVP.
Yeah, Park Jong-hoon was one of the nominees for the MVP. Yeah,
right. And he got my vote, if you recall. But the now Gaza, so they got into
he got your vote for the MVP, but yes. I have to tell you, he's currently 1-7 so far in this Korean League. 1 win, 7 losses.
Right. That's not befitting of an MVP nominee. That's what I can say. But okay, so Team Japan got into the ace match,
and I assumed. Well, based on their last ace match, in their previous ace match, they used a player that hadn't
played,
that wasn't in one of the first 4 games.
Yeah,
and I assumed it was so that everyone was sort of, they were spreading around the the games for everyone.
Yeah.
Now they didn't decide. Now I didn't know if that was a policy or not, but it turns out it's not because they brought back Seki Kataro for the ace match.
Yes, because they want to win something.
Whereas Beautiful Hapcheon, they actually brought in a different player, and I think this may be the first time that a Korean team has used 5 players in a match.
Yeah.
So they brought in their number 3 player Kim Jin Hui, who didn't play in the first 4 boards. And Seki Kataro was not able to defeat Kim Jin Hui. So even though he won in the first 4 boards, he still ended up with a loss in the match. And that meant that Japan, although they got close, they still failed to win. But they did get a point, because if you get to the ace match, you get a match point. So after 8 matches, they currently have 2 match points. Now, their most recent match was this Friday, so the 10th of March, and this was against Byun Sang-il's team, Junghwan Jang Chenok. So that's Byun Sang-il's team, and Japan, they brought in Fukuoka Kataro, who currently is their strongest player, or their most successful player so far in the Korean League, but they also brought in 3 players that don't yet have a win. And those 3 players are Onishi Ryuhei, Yoshihiro Koike, and Chang Ruijie.
Right.
Now, surprise, surprise, like I said, those 3 players have yet, up until this match, they had yet to win a game in the Korean League, and they still are yet to win a game in the Korean League because all 3 of them lost. So, Yoshihiro Koike, he lost to Hong Sung-ji. Sorry, keep getting his name wrong. Sorry, Koike Yoshihiro. Yeah. He lost to Hong Sung-ji.
Yeah.
Ryuhei Onishi. He lost to Byun Sang-il. Sorry, Onishi Ryuhei. He lost to Byun Sang-il. And Chang Ruijie, he lost to Kim Jong-hoon.
Yeah.
So then Fukuoka Kataro, he played as well. He played a young player from Korea, Kwon Ho-jin, and I think that the losing sort of like a virus, it attached itself to Fukuoka Kataro as well, because he also lost.
Oh, wow.
So Japan actually lost this match 4-0.
Yep.
Which unfortunate, which means after 9 matches, Japan have lost 2 ace matches, and in the other 7, they've lost without even getting to an ace match.
Yeah. And Gaza, there was an interesting detail that potentially we have missed, which is that the website that contains this information, I believe, is run by a Japanese person. He couldn't even bring himself to record a loss for Team Nihon Kin or Team Japan anymore, so he decided to put 3-2 in favor of Japan. But we all know that Japan also lost this one. So.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
That's the one on screen, mate.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't fight facts. But
truth hurts.
Truth hurts.
Well,
this reminds me of a couple of things. In the Reddit, in the subreddit Pro Weiqi, someone posted that the Team Japan has been so underestimated because all their players got given 2 stars, in the star rating by the Baduk
Yeah.
TV. Oh wow! I don't know if they will have a re-evaluation of that statement. The secondly is
I think that some of the players might get even less.
Yeah, I believe was it Fukuoka Kotaro who said that his aim is to win one match. Wow.
Well, the thing is, Fukuoka Kotaro, he's the only player on the team with a 50% win rate.
Right.
I think Hirata Tomoya and Sakai Yuki, they're both got 2 and 4 record. None of the other players have more than 1 win.
Yeah. Oh wow! I mean, it's really tough. I mean, if you put out a Japanese team that's not possibly the best Japanese players, but you do include one title holder and another player who has won a title recently, and you're still just getting these kind of results in the Korean League versus teams of Korean players who, on average, maybe each team's only got one really strong player, and the rest are just maybe, your what they call it, the middling players in Korea, and they still struggle like this.
Filler players, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that just speaks to the state of Go in Japan. It's not
I think it says a lot about the state of Go in Japan, and things need to change. I reckon.
Yeah, and I just remember reading online there was supposedly a translation of a Korean fan's post, and his comment was that, well, look at these Japanese players, they earn a lot more than the Korean players. I think he mentioned something like all of them are maybe worth more than 100 million won, but the Korean players, some of them can't even make a living in Baduk, and yet they're just beating them so resoundingly. So. It's just a very interesting observation. I would imagine the Japanese player would be as strong as China and Korea, but it just for whatever reason they are lagging behind. So let's see if they can do better in the coming years.
Yes.
But Fukuoka Kotaro is a great hope, and I'm not sure if he's even made the Kisei B League yet. I think he's made a C League, but I don't know.
No, he hasn't made the B League. No.
So the Japanese system is also a little bit stacked against the younger players as well. So, well, let's see. Gaza, we covered the Korean League. Is it time for the calendar?
Yeah.
All right, calendar. What's happening in calendar? Let's.
I haven't updated the calendar because I was busy.
Yeah.
Not dying.
Yeah. But there's probably not. Maybe we'll quickly look at this one, and then we quickly look at the Baduk calendar ourselves. So we mentioned today is that, of course, the Korean League, Japan, Team Taiwan is playing. But then next week, the big games in China seems to be 37th Tianyuan, the Challenger Final. And throughout the week, we have the 13th Longxing, that's the fast competition. And then there will be the 18th Changchi Cup. There will be a competition using the in-cup rules. So that's China for the next week. Now, what I would do is quickly turn on the notification, the calendar for all the other competitions to do a quick scan to see if there's anything else happening. So yeah, there's a couple of games in Taiwan. I do believe that in Japan there is a is it Honinbo Shuko? Maybe. The Women's Shuko Cup in Japan, and also the NH Cup final is happening on Sunday.
The NHK Cup?
Yeah, final. Yeah, that's what it says. So that's in Japan. Now, guys, let's quickly look at the Baduk website to see if they have any interesting things happening.
There are some Baduk games, and I will put these on the calendar.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
But there are quite a few games. There's the Korean Kiwon. So the round of 30, like they're still playing round of 32 of that.
Yeah.
The Maxim Cup, 2 more quarterfinals left to play this week.
Yeah.
The Korea's Strongest League.
Yeah.
Has started. It started last week and it's going to continue. We'll give an update on that later in a later podcast. And also the Weiqi Construction Cup is about to start.
Right. Okay.
And that one's an interesting one. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that in the next podcast, specifically who qualified and who was selected in that one. But yeah, there's a couple of outside of the Korean Baduk League. There are quite a few tournaments happening at the moment. It looks like now that there's the international. The internationals have stopped for a little bit. They're really picking up in the domestics at the moment in Korea.
Yep.
Team Taiwan, they're not only playing today, but they'll also be playing on Wednesday in the Korean League. They're playing Team Celtrion.
Yep.
And Team Japan will be playing next Sunday against Team Kicks.
Right.
Now, despite that being Shin Jinseo's team, I dare say Team Japan, this may be one of their better chances of getting a match win.
Right.
Because Shin Jinseo's teammates all seem to be in quite poor form at the moment.
Yep.
So, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows what will happen?
Yeah. Maybe they will get one match win in this league after all. Maybe.
Anyway, yeah, I'll update the calendar tomorrow.
Yeah.
No apologies for not doing it sooner.
Yeah, no.
I kind of had other things.
Yeah, no, Gaza, it's all right. Just have a good rest. And I think it's time to say goodbye.
Yes, goodbye. And next time we'll come back on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's assuming I remember, but yeah. So let's say bye or see you next